Hello and welcome to Stage 5 of Hybrid Horsepower. We are racing for our very own Ferrari SF90. This is a pretty interesting car. I've really been getting used to it. I still have no upgrades. And this particular stage, it says get in your 12,000 units of drafting without overheating. So, basically want to stay hooked up. Now, although these are really fast cars, they are still driving pretty badly, so you got to get on the brakes pretty early, and even on the brakes you can be logging drafting. Now I said 12,000 units because it either said 12,000 meters or 12,000 yards. Neither of those are anywhere near the truth. As a lot of you know, I've said this in the past, it's 12,000 Roman cubits. Why? No one knows. No one knows why that happened. So basically what happens is every meter you travel, you get 2.25 meters credited to you. And I did the math on this once, and if you divide it all out, it really does work out to the measurement of a Roman cubit, which is just really bizarre. And this was really noticeable when they've asked us to do X amount of drafting on a track that didn't even have that much distance on it. So it's pretty hilarious. Now, I actually did this whole thing already, and I was doing this a second time. The first time I did this, I actually completely overheated as I was getting my final drafting in, and I didn't even finish the race, yet it let me pass. And I thought that was kind of weird, but I'm just letting you know that that is possible. This time around, I'm going to try to just see, is there even possible to get all of the drafting in without overheating and finish the race? So that's why I'm doing it a second time, and you're seeing the second version. And already, I've only got a little over 50% of the drafting I need to get in. But looking pretty good. I'm trying not to get a lot of damage. Just because it does slow you down. And I don't want to finish very high in the race, but I don't mind finishing 8th or later. Like, you don't have to get too crazy. Now, I mean, this is crazy that I'm hooked up with a Koenigsegg and he's not really pulling away. Now, I have to be very cognizant of the fact that he's going to hammer the brakes. A lot more than I need to. Ooh, little tap there. Well, I guess I'll pass him. Oh, there we go. There's a Ferrari FXXK. Probably an Evo? Maybe, maybe not. Definitely an FXXK. All right. Oh, getting a lot of that drafting. And now, you can't draft if you're going too slow. Oh, I'm surprised it was logging that slow. Wow, that's surprising. And if you stay too close to the bot in front of you, they start to zigzag to try to lose you. So, ooh, that's a big hit. Yee, it's not very good. Okay, well, I'll have to let someone else pass me. Now, too much driving without drafting will overheat your engine. There we go. That's pretty good. Oh, getting smacked around some more. Koenigsegg, Ferrari. Come on, guys. Let me get some more drafting. And now, I don't want to get it in too early because I'm also wondering if the race will just suddenly end. Let's see. Yeah, I'm a little worried the race will suddenly end as soon as I'm finished my drafting. So that's why I'm just kind of holding back for a bit. I think I'll let this Koenigsegg pass me. And Aston Martin Vulcan, I think that is. Let's get the rest of the drafting in behind him. I'm getting really close. I don't want to not complete. Okay, well, it didn't end. Cool. Ooh, guys. Why are you tapping me so much? What did I ever do to you? Actually, I've done lots to all these guys probably in the past. Okay. Well, I've got a ways to go here. Huh. Surprised I'm so far from overheating. Maybe I'll throw it around and just waste a little bit here. Oh! Maybe I won't. Let's just finish the race. That's enough already. Wow, that was pretty violent. There you go. Pretty easy. Again, though, the first time around, I did completely overheat just as I was completing my drafting. So you do have to be a bit careful. Overtake 8 racers out there. Okay, so I did a few different tests on this, and you definitely have to overtake 8 unique opponents. Now, you could just let a whole bunch of guys pass you and then try to overtake them, but that might not work. They've been getting a little more crafty. So what do I mean by 8 unique opponents? So if I pass this guy in front of me, let him pass me and then pass him again, it only counts as 1, all right? So I decided I'll try to do this mostly on the up and up. So that actually is not cutting. If you could do what I just did in a time trial, perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That wasn't considered off track. You've probably heard me say it in the past. I think it's good to learn both forms of driving. So learn fully on-track driving, because we never know when we're going to face really difficult stages. And also, by the way, that wasn't off track. You can do that during a time trial. Also learn off-track driving for certain times when we have to get a bit creative. Cars handle quite differently off-track than they do on-track. Some cars are surprisingly slippery off-track, while other cars are actually pretty hooked up off-track. It really is surprising how much it can vary from car to car. So, like Formula One cars are pretty tricky to handle off-track, but then, let's see here. Senna GTR, that one's really nice off-track. It's interesting, off-track driving tends to pulsate a bit. So if you're holding a turn, like a nice, let's say a nice left-hand arc, you'll kind of get these pulsatings where it'll let you turn a little bit at a time. So if you're in between pulses and you start to go, oh no, I'm not turning, I better give more input, suddenly you're going to get a pulse and you're going to oversteer. So you have to do a combination sometimes of lift off the throttle to regain control and then get back on. Now, that's an awful lot of talk about off-track driving. You guys might think that's crazy. Well, probably we're going to be having to do some of that at a point, unless you're adding a bunch of upgrades. Okay, well, let's get back to this race. Getting into my last lap here. I've got 3 more cars to overtake. And I'm pretty close. I'm pretty good at Nürburgring. Now, I haven't practiced this a bunch. So, I don't know if you remember this, but in an earlier stage, and maybe you didn't see it, I was saying how you don't have to learn every single car at every single track. You just need to really learn the tracks. And once you've learned enough cars, you start to go, oh, okay, I kind of know what this was like at that track, so that means at this track I've got to do X. So for instance, driving this track at Porsche Test Track Long Circuit like we did in Stage 4, I already had a pretty good idea of where my braking points would be based on prior days. So based on that information, I was already pretty sure of what I would need to do at Nürburgring here, and I've just tweaked it a tiny bit. Like I've noticed that I can brake a little bit later than I would be in a, let's say like Bugatti Veyron, because those brakes are like, I mean, what brakes? That's almost a joke. Like, you just watch this. He's braking earlier than I am, and I'm in a horrible spot. Now that's an FXXK. They've got stinking amazing brakes. He's over braking. I shouldn't have been able to do that. Trying to check my windshield. Looks pretty good. Okay, so there we go. I got in all my overtakes. I'm in 5th place. I am going to let some guys I overshot that, but that wasn't off track. I'm going to let some guys overtake me here. I don't want to finish in that place. I don't mind finishing in 8th or further back. I don't want to finish high up. I'm still trying to manage the bots, which means try to keep them at least as slow as they are in case future stages are brutally hard. There we go. Okay, not much of a problem. As you can see, I had time to play around. Still no upgrades. And how do you know? Just check my PR rating as I'm entering a race, like coming up here. No upgrades. I'm completely unserviced. Okay? It said skid for 30 seconds. Okay. Now, one thing I've been noticing, if you do a lot of skidding totally sideways or like really far off track, it might not count it. But look at that. Barely skidding. Look at that. See? Barely skidding. Hey, by the way, I didn't check this. It didn't say anything about default control options. I would suggest you use Tilt B or something with a manual throttle so you can feather it. You can feather for control. Now, inversely, if you're using Tilt A or some type of automatic accelerator, you can also feather the brakes. But it's easier to control Tilt B than it is Tilt A, because the Tilt B, when I let go of the throttle, I'm coasting. All right, so I've already got in quite a lot of time. Now, can't pass anyone and you can't get past, but I got a nice gap here. Look at that, I'm logging skidding. And people often hound me about some stuff I do. Well, here's a fabulous example. In what crazy race would you skid for 30 seconds? Like, you just don't do that because you're giving up time. I mean, these aren't drift machines, and so we're not necessarily taking corners faster when we're drifting in these things. But, you know, look at that. Almost all my drafting's in. And I'm pretty sure as soon as I finish my drafting, this race is over. Yeah, well, so maybe I should have left it longer. Nah, oh well. See, that's going to log that I finished the race really fast, I think, but I guess we'll see what that does to me. Huh. Okay, this one, the race description is interesting. Basically, you need to finish in 7th place, and you need to have an average speed of at least 123 miles an hour every single lap. Why am I talking in miles an hour? Because for some reason, that's what they're giving all the nice round numbers in. So I almost always run in kilometers per hour. You guys know that. Most of the world, like the vast majority of the world, is in the metric system, kilometers an hour. But whatever. Because I'm Canadian, we know both. In Canada, we switched to the metric system a long time ago, but our biggest trading partners, the United States, they still are in imperial. So here in Canada, we know both. It's really funny. We go to the hardware store, everything's in feet and inches. Tape measures that we use are all in inches, but then everything else is like meters and kilometers, and well, there we go. I do like the metric system because it's just so easy. 10 millimeters in a centimeter, 100 centimeters in a meter, 1,000 meters in a kilometer, etc., etc., etc. Okay, this particular race, I wasted way too much time on this race. I bet you I wasted a good hour on this race. First of all, you have to cut to do this with no upgrades, okay? You just have to. There's no way around it. You cannot build up enough average speed if you're not going to cut. I'm pretty convinced no one can do it, but I think Speed Junkie had to retire. Speed Junkie, he's got a young family. I think he had to retire. He could, if anyone could do it, it would have been him. I miss Speed Junkie. He was just such a stinking amazing driver. But when you got a young family, certain things have to be put off. And so I totally respect that. Huge respect for Speed Junkie, both as a racer and as a non-racer. But you can see here, I'm already having trouble. Look at that, 120.323. So I gotta cut this in order to get up my average speed. And I'm gonna cut it a little bit early. I'm very cognizant of the traffic I could accidentally be running into. I cannot afford any damage. Very careful here. Oh my goodness, I don't like this at all. Ooh boy, that's really low. 123.5. Okay, so why did I do this so much? Because I didn't want to finish higher than 7th place. And I'm already in 9th. So what I would try to do is find some place on the track where I could turn around, drive the wrong direction, keep my average speed up, and turn back around while still finishing in 7th place. Well, I've wasted too much time on this. So far I've been unsuccessful. I would end up finishing in like 1st place or 12th place. So this time around, whatever it is what it's going to be. I'm not doing this stage again because it takes a while. So whatever it's going to be when I reach the start-finish line, that's where I'm finishing it. I will not be turning around and going the wrong direction. I could still maintain my average speed that way, but I couldn't maintain my position. In fact, it's extremely hard even to maintain your average speed if you do a backwards run here, because you end up having to smack a wall and you often get damaged. It's just whatever. So I might be ruining my bot settings a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I'm still going no upgrades. You're going to see that. When this race is done, I will show you I got zilch nada for upgrades. Zilch nada, whatever. Okay, carefully cutting through here. Whoa, baby, whoa, baby, whoa, baby. 124.4, that's not bad. I shouldn't have a problem here. Let's get some drafting off the Koenigsegg. Come on, man, get your butt moving. Why are you so slow? You're a Koenigsegg. Wow. Although this SF90 has pretty insane acceleration. That's probably those electric motors kicking in where you get really nice acceleration. Okay, that was a nice cut. The Koenigsegg's, although they're incredibly fast, don't accelerate as high as this SF90 base car does. Wow. Well, there we go. By the way, let's talk about race 3.4. So stage 3, race 4. It seems like Android people are having trouble. Maybe not all Android people, but a lot. Varying reports I'm hearing. Most people, they just won't let them pass. And I've already said this publicly on my stage 3 race. I pinned a comment. Don't wait for them to fix it. Take a screenshot of how much gold it costs to skip the race. This is only if you can't do it. And because it's an easy race, but people were having it fail them no matter what they did. So take a screenshot of the cost, pay the gold to skip it, and then submit a ticket to Fire Monkeys to get your gold back. Whenever this has happened in the past, they pay people back. They might fix it, but the problem is you might run out of time to finish it before they fix it. And I've seen that happen to people before, and it's very frustrating. If you don't know how to file a ticket, just go to the description area of this stage, and you will see right in the description area, I provide a link to a short video that walks you through how to make a ticket, okay? I've had to do it a lot through the years. Sometimes I had things happen like, sometimes a car just disappeared from my garage, and I'd file a ticket, and they would get it back for me. So I've had various problems through the years. Generally, I've had a really good experience with support. Once in a while, I haven't. But more often than not, they've been really good, and it's been worth my while to contact them. Sometimes I had a car missing for quite a long time, and they went above and beyond to compensate me for the hassle. So I'd say it's always worth your while. Just be nice. Okay, just be really polite, and you're gonna have a better chance of a good experience if you're polite. Okay, I'm in third place. This is the last lap. I am not going to slow down and let anyone pass me, although my average speed, I've been doing pretty good. Although that was kind of sloppy, that hairpin. This corner's tricky to try to stay full throttle in it. You gotta really nail it perfectly. Now that average speed isn't building as fast because I banked so much, so that means you get less room for errors. See if 122.10, gosh, I am not feeling good about this. Oh, not at all. Well, okay, I gotta really push it because this is really close. I can't afford to wait much here. Well, there's first place right there. Can I at least not pass him? 123.3.2.1, come on! Oh, okay, I can breathe. A little bit nerve-wracking there. Well, that wraps up stage 5. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll show you my upgrades in just a couple of seconds here. 0000000. Please like and subscribe, check out some other videos. Here's the playlist link, and join me for stage 6 and 7.